Welcome to Sound Bites. I am your host, Holly Whitfield. I'm here with Bianca Phillips and Natalie Van Gundy. This week, we are going to talk about some holiday-related food fun in the form of gifts for foodies. I wanted to thank y'all for tuning in today because I'm really excited about this one. We have a great mix of gift ideas coming up. So, Sound Bites, by the way, is the Daily Memphian's weekly food, drink, and dining podcast. You can tune in on WYXR radio every Thursday at 11, or you can listen wherever you get your podcasts, on your phone, iTunes, Spotify, and of course, you can always listen and read along a little write-up with each episode at thedailymemphian.com. If you are listening on WYXR on Thursday, stay tuned. Up next, you can listen to the Sidebar podcast with Eric Barnes. This week, he is interviewing Kevin Sharp from the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. But again, hello, Bianca Phillips, our newsletter editor for the Daily Memphian. How are you?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Not ready for Christmas, though.
Maybe this will help.
And Natalie Van Gundy, our podcast producer.
Hello.
Well. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about foodie-themed gifts for people who like food, which is most people, really. This is actually something that Bianca and I have been working on a larger scale for our Daily Memphian Holidays in Memphis newsletter, which if you haven't signed up for, go to dailymemphian.com, sign up for that, where we have a full Memphis gift guide. But for today, we're going to focus on, like we said, food and dining. We do have a mix of gift ideas that you can get locally, that are made locally, and also just things related to dining and food in general that aren't necessarily fully local. So it's a mix, all good stuff. But let's get started. I just think we're going to go down the list of these ideas. People can take notes. Let's start with something local, though.
Well, one idea, and this is another kind of shameless plug, we're working on a holiday gift guide that's coming out next week, and one of our writers has recommended Mighty Olives, olive oils, and balsamic vinegars. And her favorite pairing there is actually the Tuscan herb paired with the fig balsamic. I have not had that combo, but I do love the Tuscan herb. There's a lemon white balsamic that I've also bought for my mom for a holiday gift, I think last year, and we kind of mixed them together like a little salad dressing, and it was so good. So that's my recommendation.
I think they also sell an orange flavored one that I have baked in brownies and gotten like a chocolate orange, which that's not for everybody. It's definitely for me, that kind of vibe, and it was incredible.
Yeah, so the Mighty Olive is like specialty olive oils, vinegars, other things like that. In East Memphis at the Laurelwood Collection. Is that what it's called? It's across the street from the Laurelwood.
Maybe. Yeah.
But
close to Sprouts. That's all I know. But you can go in and try each one. There's like, you can get a little piece of bread and like a little cup and like dip, which is the best part, I think. They also have a butter oil that I love to get for popcorn.
Yum.
And it's vegan friendly butter oil.
I can't understand that exactly, but I'm happy for it.
It's artificially flavored.
Sounds delicious.
Yes. Yeah.
Honestly, we're going around the table here. That's what we're going to do.
I'm next at the table.
You're next at the table.
For all of those just listening, which is everybody. Okay, so on my list, I've got a long list, so I've got to pick one out.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a recommendation as a gift to give to a kid.
Yes.
And this is not local, by the way, but it's the We Sprout Company Kids Cooking Kit. It's kid size, kid safe. It's got 14 pieces, and it helps your child learn how to cook in the kitchen. The knives are wooden, the spatulas and everything are silicone, and they come in really cute colors.
So the cooking kit they can actually use to cook?
Yes, it's meant to be used.
Okay, it's not like play kitchen.
Right, it's all food safe, and I think I said this. Very, very cute. Comes in great colors, and it would look great in your kitchen, and really nobody would even know that it's made for kids.
Nice. I like that because also, what do you buy for the children in your life? No idea. So this is a good...
Yeah. Well, and if your kid wants to be in the kitchen with you and you're, chopping something up, you can't exactly be like, here, help me, take this knife.
Yeah.
But now you can with this cooking kit. And there are others like it online. This is just the one that I'm going to give my son this year.
If you get them started early, then when they're old enough to actually use real knives, they could just make dinner for you. And then you don't have to do anything.
I like this. Yeah.
This is a great gift. Okay, so you said you have a long list. Give us another one.
Oh, another one. Okay. I'll go local. And I think I also suggested this for the list that Bianca's put together. Really, anything from My Cup of Tea makes for a great gift. They have lots of bundles that you can buy that are prearranged on their website right now. And also, if anyone's listening and they're responsible for their company's like corporate gift to employees or clients, I'm pretty sure can have them do like a custom gift option for you to purchase and then distribute. Just a great company with a great mission, and their teas are delicious.
Yeah, and the My Cup of Tea teas are like, they're themed, like Memphis themed, and they have cute names, all of which I think escape me now. Is it Orange Mound? Porch Peach, is that one of them?
That's one of them. They even do a Memphis medley, which is like samples of each of those like themed teas all in the same box. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. A sampler.
A sampler. There you go. Very, very cool. Oh, a blue suede blueberry, I think, is one of them.
That one is so good.
It's so good.
I am not like a fan of blueberry flavored things usually for whatever reason.
It's
like,
subtle though.
It's too much. But the tea was really, really good. That relates to my non-local gift idea,
which I
have been preaching since 2020, which is to get an electric kettle to boil water. And now for many years, I was like, if you've ever traveled to Europe or UK, they have this all over the place because they're drinking all their tea all the time. And I was like, why do I need this? I can just boil water. But for whatever reason, in the height of the pandemic, I decided I was going to get one. I was drinking a lot of tea. And I don't know why, but it's life-changing. You can just have boiled water in like 30 seconds.
That fast?
Yeah. Huh? Like maybe a minute. Depends. Like I have a cute one that like lights up different colors. And I'm just making tea. I'm making pots of tea. I use it for my French press, for my coffee. Can use it in cooking. I don't know if you drink any kind of tea at all. I think you should get this and you should use it to make your My Cup of Tea tea.
We need one for the office because our water situation with the water machine is a little sketchy.
Yeah, Eric, if you're listening, that's what we want for the holidays.
We need an office electric kettle. Actually, I love this idea. See what we can do about that. Okay, Bianca.
All right, I've got a few cookbook recommendations that I'll run through. And they're all local, sort of. So, So Justin Foxburks and Amy Lawrence are old friends, and Justin's a former coworker of mine from the Memphis Flyer. And they have written 3 books together, The Chubby Vegetarian, Southern Vegetarian, and The Low Carb Vegetarian.
That last one could be tricky.
Yeah, and actually, so The Chubby Vegetarian and Southern Vegetarian are both ones that I've used quite a bit. The Low Carb Vegetarian, I am intentionally on a high carb vegan diet. So I got it and made a few things to do a review on my blog about it, but it's not necessarily for me, but it is for a lot of people. I feel like there's a lot of people who still doing the low carb thing. So that would be a good book. And there's really not a lot out there on that topic, but that very niche.
Yeah.
Like low
vegetarian,
carb.
but also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all 3 great. And the Chubby Vegetarian actually has a recipe for Kelly English's chimichurri. If anybody wants that, it's in the book. And there's also a tofu and truffle pork rind in Southern Vegetarian made from tofu skin, which is called yuba. And that's really cool to be able to make pork rinds that aren't pork rinds.
Yeah.
So another book that just came out is called Vegan Treasures of India. And it is by a woman who she's not from Memphis. She lived in Memphis for quite a while. She moved away before this book came out. She started working on it while she was in Memphis, so I feel like it counts as a Memphis book. She does mention Memphis in the intro to the book.
I think it counts.
Yeah. It's all vegan Indian food, but it's from all over the country. So it's not just like North Indian or South Indian, or a lot of Indian cookbooks tend to be regional. So it's because the cuisine varies so much by region. And so I love this because you can sort of sample your way around all of India. And it's a lot of stuff that I think a lot of Americans who are just used to going to Indian restaurants might not be familiar with. It's just kind of some different stuff that are like vada pav and sev and sabzi, which are all things that I feel like if you go deep into Indian cooking, you can find that stuff, but it's not But you can just go order at a restaurant.
Right.
So,
Not your usual takeout Indian.
right.
Yeah, something more.
And the last thing is a shameless plug is my own cookbook.
Well, if you weren't going to do it, I was. So I'm glad you are.
We were going to talk about it regardless.
It's called Cook and Crunk, Eating Vegan in the Dirty South, and it's just recipes. It came out in 2012, so it's kind of old, but there are things that I grew up cooking with my mom and my grandma, and so it's a lot of family recipes that are veganized, and there's my grandma's coconut pie and her coconut icebox cake, and there's tofu deviled eggs that don't have eggs in them. So there's a few vegetarian and vegan cookbook suggestions. I know there are a lot of other non-vegetarian and vegan cookbooks, but I don't really mess with those. So
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I like this too because a lot of times in the holidays, people are maybe hosting family members or friends that are vegan or vegetarian. My brother was vegetarian for about 10 years. And so we would have like 2 versions of dressing and stuff at our house. And so having these kinds of cookbook recipes is like going to be really helpful for people that are trying to accommodate all their guests in the spirit of the holidays. Yeah. So thank you for that. Natalie, what you got?
Okay, I love giving consumable gifts, but I also love giving experiences. And one that I would recommend would be giving someone a gift certificate to Muddy's to use for a class.
Oh.
They have their series where they'll teach you how to make some of their cakes or cupcakes or cookies. And I think that would be a fun experience to give somebody. But if you want to give them a consumable gift with that experience, this could also be given to a child. They sell their cookie and cupcake kits where the cookies or the cupcakes are already baked, but they give you the icing and the sprinkles and you assemble them yourself at home. And it's a really fun gift, but it does have kind of an expiration date. Like once you get that, you really need to use it in the next day or two.
Right. But that's cute, and it's all there together. So if you're busy and running around, or like if you have a bunch of kids that need to be occupied,
yeah,
it's all right there.
Well, and it's one less plastic toy in your house, which tends to happen over the holidays. Don't get me started.
Right.
I'll cut that out.
No.
Some passive
Let's get you
aggressiveness.
started. No, it's fine. Well, speaking of consumable gifts, I also like this a lot. So I have a couple of like sweet things made in Memphis that I really like. One of them is the Shotwell candy caramels, which
they are so good.
They're so good. This is like on my gift list every year. Like every year on I Love Memphis blog, I would be promoting the Shotwell candy folks because it's just like, it's very rich and decadent and it's a treat. And you're like, oh, it's just caramels, but they taste extra good. And they have some that have like espresso situation happening within the candy.
Pretzel ones are delicious.
I like just the salted caramel. I know that's polarizing for people, but I don't know what's wrong with people who don't like it. So sorry for you. But you can order the Shotwell stuff online. I know they have it at Buster's, Liquors in their little like non-alcohol section. So
you can also do
tasty.
a custom order from them because those were the party favors at my wedding.
Oh, that's nice.
It was very fun and delicious. And all of the leftovers that didn't get taken went to my house.
Lucky you.
A little bit, yeah.
I also like that their packaging is nice. And so if you're like putting it together as like a gift, it feels like a gift. It's not just like, here's a bag of candy. It's something special. So I want to talk about one of my other sweet treats. My favorite in Memphis is Ricky's Cookie Corner. Another, like, this one has been around forever and ever. And so Ricky's Cookie Corner is in the corner over at Eastgate Shopping Center.
Yeah, it
right?
feels like it's kind of in an alley.
Right. The first time I ever went there, I was like, am I in the right place? But you are. And she makes all kinds of delicious baked goods. But the thing that I like is the chocolate chip cookie bars. They're just so good, and they're like the perfect texture of chewy, soft, thickness, dense, sweet goodness.
Everything right, nothing wrong.
Yeah, everything was beautiful and nothing hurt when you're eating the Ricky's Cookie Corner chocolate chip cookie bars.
There we go.
Yeah, so I think you should just go there to her place and shop there, but I have seen them at Kroger.
Yeah.
And some of her other breads and things. So those are two to stock your stock your stockings with. Yeah.
Stuff your stockings.
That's what I was trying to say. Those are two to stock your stockings with.
Okay, well, I'm a big drinker. That makes me sound some kind of way, but I love to drink. My parents love to drink, and so it's super easy for me to buy them Christmas gifts and for them to buy me Christmas gifts because we can just buy alcohol for each other. And so I have 3 alcohol gifts that are Memphis-based that I was going to suggest. We'll start with wine. So Old Millington Winery has a red called Crying Angel Red.
Oh, no.
There's actually an interesting story that Bill Dries here has told me about it, and I don't remember what it was, but there's a backstory to the Crying Angel. So it's like the picture on the bottle is like a gravestone.
Oh,
so I think it's like anyway.
Spooky.
So a lot of their wines are really sweet, which is not my thing. But Crying Angel is actually pretty dry, which is good. So that's the one I recommend. And then as far as beer, Crosstown Brewing Company, every year around this time, I'm not sure when it's happening yet this year, but they release a new version of their Boris Russian Imperial Stout. And they usually they'll do a kind of a regular, like plain Imperial Stout, and then they'll do like some kind of coffee stout or some kind of other flavored version of it. So we try to get one every year. My partner actually just puts them up and he's like, I'm never going to drink these. I don't know why, but he's a
People
weird
do that.
Yeah, it's a collector's item.
thing.
So you can go up to the Crosstown tap room and pick these up.
Yeah, and they're in a nice big bottle. It's
Okay.
like it's bigger than a pint. It's like I don't even know.
It's those tall bottles.
It's a tall bottle.
But you get it.
Yeah.
With the fancy beers in them. Yeah.
And so anyway, that's a Christmas thing they do. And then the liquor recommendation I was going to make was for Old Dominic's. It used to be called the Memphis Toddy. I've looked it up on their website now. It's called the Original Toddy.
Okay.
And it's actually a recipe that they reverse engineered from a bottle that they found in a warehouse. So it's an old Memphis recipe that they've somehow figured out. I guess I don't know if the ingredients were on the label or what, but somehow they figured out how to remake
They have
that.
a whole science thing happening. They have like a laboratory at Old Dominic Distillery, by the way.
Awesome.
And I'm assuming was involved in the reverse engineering of this.
But it's like to me, it's a really wintry drink because it's a spiced bourbon. And it's nice to just have it plain over ice, I think. Maybe need to mix it with anything.
And wasn't that one of the first drinks they offered when they opened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember them saying that was something that they could sell because technically their bourbon at the time when they opened wasn't old enough yet to actually be bourbon.
Yeah.
Is right. Okay.
Right. It has to be aged in Tennessee for, I think, at least 4 years before they can sell it. But for that one, they were able to take like existing bourbon and do their recipe to it.
It's delicious.
So that one's tasty. I personally like the Healing Station bourbon from Old Dominic. That's my pick. The toddy is good in some cocktails. It can be a little something much for me sometimes. I'm not going to say
All
it's
that
like
spice.
Fireball because it's not like Fireball, but it's
I do
kinda
love
like
Fireball, though, so.
So I like the Healing Station, but we're going to continue giving you some great food-related gift ideas, both local and non-local. But I wanted to remind you that you're listening to the Daily Memphian Soundbites podcast with me, Holly Whitfield. I'm here with Bianca Phillips and Natalie Van Gundy. And if you're tuning in on WYXR, keep listening after this for the sidebar with Eric Barnes and his guest, Kevin Sharp from the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. If you're listening through your podcast app, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Speaking of which, next week on Soundbites, we are going to talk about our favorite Thanksgiving dishes, tips for Thanksgiving cooking, and if you're putting it all together and you're thinking this comes out on Thursdays, yes, this is going to air on WYXR on Thanksgiving Day. However, if you want to get a preview ahead of time before Thanksgiving, we're going to have it go live on dailymemphian.com on Tuesday. So Thanksgiving fun coming your way next week on Soundbites. I had a couple more also drinking related gift ideas. One is the other local distillery, Blue Note Bourbon. They've got some good bourbons. They taste good. Their bottles are pretty. These are things you want in a gift. So
True.
Recommend those. But something that's really unique to Memphis is Comeback Coffee, the coffee shop. They also manufacture coffee sodas. So these are non-alcoholic. These are sodas. They come in different flavors. One I like is like a lemon thyme. It's kind of like a tea lemonade coffee soda drink. And, right now I think all these kind of sparkling drinks, non-alcoholic, mocktail kind of alternatives are super popular for people. I love to mix that in.
The can is very pretty.
The can is really pretty. It's designed by the people who own Comeback Coffee. They can it in downtown Memphis. So it's super local. It's also a good like hosting gift sometimes. Sometimes people don't have non-alcoholic options at their parties, but more and more people are interested in having that. So highly recommend the Comeback Coffee Soda. And you can get that at the cafe. I think you can order it online as well.
I'll chime in with one that's not local. And I think you're pretty familiar with it, Holly. It's the Universal Yum subscription.
Oh, yeah.
There are different price points with this subscription with various amounts of snacks in each box. Each one comes with a booklet of trivia and games. And you can choose a destination for your subscription box, which would be like the country that the snacks are based in. Or you can choose holidays everywhere. And I think it'll pull holiday-themed snacks from various countries.
Oh.
But you
didn't know about that one.
Well, I saw it today when I was doing some research on this. I'm targeted by their ads all the time, and I welcome them because it's a great reminder of something that sometimes I like to buy for myself. But you've given this as a gift before, right, Holly?
I think it was a Universal Yums box. If it wasn't that, it was something very similar. But they're just taking snacks that you can typically only get in other countries and other places. So that's really fun. I got a whole box of like British candy bars and chocolate bars, which I think are overall superior to candy bars that we have in the U.S.
They are, and there's a reason why, and we can get into that in another podcast.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I really want to know though. Well, so I love like a crunchy, that's what it's called. It's called the crunchy, and it's chocolate covered like honeycomb type stuff. It's kind of like a Butterfinger texture inside, but not peanut butter, just sugar. But anyways, I got my dad like a whole box of these kind of like as a joke. And let me tell you, like 4 days later into the Christmas, like after Christmas, like our family of 4 had eaten like the whole box of candy bars, and we were like fighting over our favorite ones. So it was consumable, but also experiential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very fun to share.
I like that one. That's a good one. And then they have, it's not just candy. It's like
snacks
ketchup
in general.
chips and from Canada.
Oh, I do like those ketchup chips.
Who knows what else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of snack boxes, I was going to recommend one. This is also not a local thing. There's a company called The Good Grocer, and they make snack boxes for special diet. So, of course, I'm going to mention there's a vegan one, but also there's a paleo one and a keto one. So if you know anyone who's following a special diet, it's chips and like energy bars and popcorn bags. And there are these cauliflower puffs that I like a lot. I think they're both keto and vegan.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can get little things of those, and there's like corn nuts and just fun snacks. So I'm a big snacker, and I've gotten these boxes as gifts before, and I love them. It's just, I just want to bathe in snacks.
Yeah.
I kind of don't even eat them right away. I just hoard them for a long time, and then I
savor them.
Yeah. I can eat these snacks whenever I want.
All right. We have a couple more minutes, maybe for 2 or 3 more gifts max. What else did you want to share, Natalie?
Well, there's another experience on my list that I think my husband might be giving to my mother-in-law. So, Janet, if you're listening, turn it off. But booking afternoon tea at 17 Berkshire, which I guess some of my gifts are also for children. So you can book this for children, or you can book it for adults, or both. But this will be for adults. And what it is there's like a selection of snacks that are appropriate for tea, that you'll share along with like specially curated teas. And it's a whole thing. And 17 Berkshire is lovely. They have a location in Overton Square, and then I think a pop-up in Saddle Creek now. But I don't know that the pop-up is doing tea, but the one in Overton Square does. You can look at pictures of people having the afternoon tea experience on their social media. It looks very cute and fun. Lots of good photo ops.
Yes. The Peabody also has their afternoon tea in Chez Philippe as well, where you get like the tiered platters of the little tea sandwiches
Right.
and the crumpets and the desserts. And I think 17 Berkshires is
Similar.
in that way. But that's something really fun to do for like, that'd be a fun, like you said, for a mom or mother-in-law. Like,
I've also thought of that as a Mother's Day gift for my mother-in-law as well.
yeah, that's a good one. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned Coffee Black, Black-owned Memphis-based coffee roasters, and they do all of the single origin ethical trade. They actually go to Africa and work with the individual farmers to get the coffee beans and bring them back and roast them. So they have a couple different varieties, but they have a coffee shop over sort of in the East Memphis, Binghamton vicinity. You can pick up whole beans for people who are super into coffee. Coffee nerds are going to love this. So Coffee Black is another really good one. Did you have another one? Another idea?
I do, and it's coffee related.
Yes.
So Bell Tower Coffee sells their mugs from their pottery studio, but you could also book a studio pottery class at Bell Tower. So you could give someone the coffee mug, and inside is a little gift certificate for them to take one of the pottery classes. And I love their mugs. They're great. I drink a latte out of one almost every morning.
The mugs are awesome. They do custom mugs, by the way, if you ever wanted to have one that like had a little design on it. They gave me one once and that I bequeathed to my coworkers back at I Love Memphis. But anyways, I love the gift. It's in the mug. It's got the gift certificate in it. You're done. And so are we. That is all the time we have on Soundbites today. Don't forget to tune into our Thanksgiving podcast. It's going to go live on Tuesday, and then will be aired on WYXR next Thursday at 11 a.m. like all of our episodes of Soundbites. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, and of course, dailymemphian.com. Thank you so much, Bianca. Thank you so much, Natalie. We'll talk to you next time.
See ya.
Bye.